amongst the intelligence agencies. That happens all the world. If you have, you have something so we have they've said collapse all this into platform. Okay, so everybody's head in the direction. Justice we like to take with us. The one individual who he said has assumed it's beyond what they should be. And he goes to this and I'm saying that everybody who should be a veneer of official, traditional, or religious to spoke with further we have himself to live. After this came,
Jimmy, let me say to you,
all people that have been watched, and I can show you there's quite a handful of people on our list. Jail, they will root out and they will book, they will consider an example of. And any individual who thinks of what, thinks in mind, anyone person who thinks he's the cat's whisk or him real touch, and leaders to situation and happiness will have himself blamed and.
Now, I need to explain to people. No, it's also applied to people who have been on it's just a half make. Now, I'm hoping this will put into no, we don't have I'm going to trade to you difficult. And lack of use of their language and be using the kind of like all kinds of disturbance here from my judgment. I suppose this according to is it not go around? Is that what he's saying? Does he know the implication of what he's saying? And so I'm glad that this has happened. The level at which it's coming is okay for me, given the sense of our president. He is what he is. He's not. He's over 70. Not likely to change any day. So I'm satisfied with this level. I would have been happier if it was the president who said all this. But let's know what is what it is. It is left to these security people now to make sure that they live up to the words that have been said here.
Right. And now let's stay with the Punch newspaper. Tinubu probe demands asset declaration from CCB.
Now let's be careful here. There is no commentator, social commentator, that will not have an interest in anything that Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There is none. So don't let's be hypocritical about it. And I remember a year ago, I talked about having NAFBAS expired, which was a way of saying that a man should know, when he has reached the limit. And therefore, it looks at face value, it's like a very simple thing. A petition has been, the EFCC will investigate. Would they find something against him? Would they not find? We will have to wait and see. It also gives us an opportunity to again tell this gentleman who's been in the forefront of governance, especially in Lagos for over 20 years, that, sir, respect, you got to be careful. You got to be very careful. Some people say that he hates him. I'm the one who loves him the most. Don't allow people push you to a button. You see, because what is going to happen is this, and I can see the signs coming. Just last week or so, there was a case, I'm sorry to say, against his daughter, that she could no longer collect funds from, which is going to be translated to all the matters, because then you'll be looking at the constitutionality otherwise of having a so-called Day of Lagos. See, all these little bits here and there show that the man has to have a very fast to navigate what's ahead of him. He has to. And so that, hopefully to him, he's very careful. Because now that you have a young gentleman in the EFCC, who, as at yesterday, was saying he doesn't want anybody to congratulate him. I was so happy when I saw that, because the adverts are coming up. He said, if you have money to waste, go donate it to charity. It means this 40-year-old man is going to go all out. Hopefully.
I was going to say...
hopefully. No, I will always add that word, hopefully. And that doesn't bother me. Time will tell. What bothers me is that a man who has, in the eyes of so many people, done so well, now needs to manage the rest of what life God has to give him. And that is my whatever this morning. Because this one now is going to embolden a lot of people. Things that have been credited to this gentleman, they are colossal. I don't know if they are true or not. That's why I use the word credited. But going forward for him, I would tell him he has to be very, very careful and remember that every NAFDAC approval that you are giving always has an expiry date.
Okay. Let's leave the Punch for a moment. Let's go to the Nation newspaper. Shore in court with strange bodyguard. So when I saw this yesterday, Jimmy, I was like, what in God's holy name is going on here?
This was the man that some of you voted for and wanted to make president. You need to go. I have a big quarrel. With a friend of mine, a friend of mine, the lawyer in the United States, and I hope he's listening. Who you see, Nigeria has become a big joke. Has become a big joke, and somebody has to put this young man. I'm not finding him guilty for the case he has gone to, but this is a desecration of our tradition. That is the part that bothers me. He can play all kinds of pranks I couldn't be bothered. But this is you need to go to the papers to see what I'm talking about. This is a desecration, and his family should put him out on caution. He might end up getting himself so embarrassed he won't believe it. Our culture is very sacred. It is sacred. Traditional worship is sacred. It is not used for fun. Any Lagosian will tell you, for example, that you are told that even for cultural display, you shouldn't do the or whatever it is. Yeah. It has consequences. Or to put it in Yoruba, Omaleyin. Why you are going to court for your case, a case of, I think it was also the case of treason or whatever it is, and you bring this gentleman, he said this is Babalawo, and this is, what did he say he is? That he's his spiritual advisor. He's making trivia of the whole thing. And if he thinks it's a big joke, good luck to him. But the desecration of our own culture is what I'm very, very much against. They said that the guy, because we can show you if you're on YouTube, but it says the dress had cowries, snail shells, small head of a fox emblazoned on it. He carried a gourd and a small horse tail with cowries in his right hand. A red cloth sack was strapped to his shoulder. The man had chalk marks around his eyes. He was barefooted, and that his appearance caused curious glances and so on and so forth. I would like to credit the magistrates with a lot of maturity. You tried this kind of thing with some of the judges I knew way back, you will end up in jail. People need to learn from history. You need to, for example, go and read the story of somebody like Ijigbadero. The same applies to this other gentleman I spoke about earlier on. If you have a sense of history, you will be careful how you manage yourself in public. You'll be absolutely careful. And I hope Showore doesn't pay for this, because desecration of our cultural whatever, culturally,
right?
You know what this could mean. And this was a man who put himself forward as a presidential candidate. We just got started. It doesn't do any good to the youth who want to aspire to power, because this is what people will be pointing to. Is it all these clownish things that you'll be doing? When you, what if you had been president? Is this how he will go for a conference somewhere? Look at it. But the man is fully loaded, though.
Yes, he is.
Can you identify?
Check the one inside. I think Vanguard has another one inside.
It has one inside. Yeah. Can you identify some of the things there?
Me? Why are you asking me?
Yeah, Yoruba man.
Me, more anything.
Oh, more.
No.
Okay, this one.
Yeah.
This one was the head of the fox. This one is Aluwolele. This other one on the one side, that one is the Funpa.
So my point is, when I saw this yesterday, I was like, so what did he? What could be the motive? Like to grab him and disappear, or what exactly?
It's just immature and childish. That's all there is to it. He just wanted to cause attention. It's just immature and childish. And I'm very surprised at him. For a man who set up something like Sahara Reporters way back then, I'm surprised that he's getting it. I can tell him off. He's a young person to me. Yeah, he's behaving irresponsibly. He's behaving irresponsibly. That's what it is. There is no other way to say. People think that what is it now? Democracy means that your whatever is absolute. Freedom it's not. He's making a mockery of the courts and our legal system. But for the maturity of the judge, he probably would have some other judge would have wanted to send this guy to trial. You came to the church to a court barefooted, dressed with all this. Who do you? It's immaturity, and it offends what some of us stand for when we say that we want a young and virile president, well-read, and so on and so forth. Because to be fair to Showore, the intelligence and whatever that produce an online publication like the Sahara Reporters, even though it's what I would call an alluter, it doesn't follow the tenets of journalism to the core. But for a man of that whatever to have gotten to a point where, whether you like it or not, he had some kind of following to present himself to be president, I'm surprised this kind of thing is happening. I don't know if it was Femi Falana that went with him yesterday. I doubt it very much. If Femi Falana would have gone with him, with this man dressed
what if he had gone to that court with a pastor or an imam?
The same thing will apply. If you had gone, the same thing will apply, but it will be less objectionable. I know the prank you're trying to play.
It's not a prank. I'm just saying, that, look,
No.
yeah. What if he had gone there with somebody with big lawani, like, lawani that can carry the entire Lagos state on the head, like big one lawani, with the tesbih that will be so long from here to Oshodi.
It would still, you see, because a babalawo who is yours, whatever, it doesn't need to dress like this. You don't need to dress like this.
You don't need to show off, right?
It's not even showing off. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You come to the court barefoot. What I mean, why? With charms.
To Duffe.
We thank the maturity of the judge. I'm telling you, the issue would have been. But maybe you're right, though. If you had come with the reverend, or if you had come with an alaji and big turban and long beard and so on and so forth. But this is trivia as far as I'm concerned. And it shows that he has no regard for law.
Yeah.
A man who wants to be president must show respect. This is lack of respect for the court.
So the reason why we're dwelling on this is so that people can know that there is a lot to be taken away from this story.
You need
we cannot trivialize this kind of story.
You need to see the picture for you to know why I'm so angry. And I'm much more angry because this man has a large following. And the level he had gotten to in society, he shouldn't be involved in this kind of trivia. And I repeat, I doubt very much if Femi Falana would have gone to court with him like this. I doubt it. I doubt it. Even Fela, who was a culture and whatever, when the time he went to court, he was well composed and well, because he was ready to go and fight his case.
Let's go to this page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Nigeria receives first batch of COVID-19 vaccines.
Well, he don't land.
Finally.
And yes, I saw on the social media that some people have been filling the forms and everybody is all set to go. And the minister told us yesterday that once 70% of the population is expected to be inoculated within 2 years. Within 2 years is too short, is too long, sir. The United Kingdom is doing it within 6 months and moving on to some other things. He says that we have been told to open an account with African Exim Bank, and they have done so. The COVAX vaccine is free. It is made from donations. And so they're ready to pay for some others. So they have to pay for, let me read what it says. Once you immunize 60 to 70% of our population, if COVAX immunizes 20, then we have about 40 to 50 to immunize within the next 3 years. So we have to pay for that minus any donations that we get, like the MTN donation, for example. So MTN apparently is donating some vaccines. That's nice to know.
All right.
So I will get to the MTN something.
You're already queuing up.
I'm queuing up with the MTN, please remember that. The man is here. And I think that apart, I hear that a lot of companies in some banks and so on and so forth, they're raring to go.
The private
sector.
The
only thing they are insisting on is that they want to handle the process from top to bottom. They don't want to give the money to any person.
To anybody.
And that is where small colorful they inside. But please, when the vaccines are available, I plead with you, you have a choice. Do you want to die from the vaccine, which is very unlikely, or do you want to die from COVID, which is very likely?
Right. And you can go online and register, by the way. So,
yes, I heard the registration has started.
Mm.
But it would be nice for us to get 2 or 3 people here and find out, okay, so you registered, what information do you then get? Does it give you a date?
Yeah.
Does it give you where? And so on and so forth.
Okay. All right. Let's quickly go to the Vanguard. Let's stay with the Vanguard. Page 11 of the Vanguard says, sell tickets, risk jail term. Ondo government wants transport unions.
Well, what I'm told is that this directive is temporary, but I hope it is made permanent, and I hope the Lagos state government will follow suit. We cannot hand over governance to hoodlums. The governor keeps saying things about a mega city. In no mega city do you collect 20 naira on the streets. You collect from Okada, you collect from this, you collect from that. The other day, Obasanjo, excuse me, Papa, don't vex. Obalende was brought to a standstill over the fight between the unions and so on and so forth. We must devise other ways by which these unions could be run. Definitely not by selling tickets right on the road. So, Ondo State has read the Riot Act. Let us wait and see how Lagos State is going to handle its own. But this has been going on for too long. The romance between members of the union and our top politicians is a bit worrying. And I think in that one sentence, I have summed up the fears that most people have. And Akeredolu said that. He says, why I suspended the unions? He says, over security concerns. It says that the Governor Akeredolu suspended the activities of the union, particularly at the motor parks, following security reports suggesting an imminent clash between the two opposing factions in the union over leadership tussle. We would like Governor Sanwo-Olu, we know you're quite busy, a lot on your plate. But it would be nice if we put it down in history that you are the one who finally resolved the issue of NURTW and area boys. Again, I hate to go back to Fashola era. He was able to put them under, he cleared the whole of Oshodi, put them under some kind of control. We can't submit governance to this set of people. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but I mean, hey, I think it's quite obvious.
That's right.
And now, before you know it, the sad partner is that they have become role models. Even comedians want to talk like that. Language like things like toilet. These are the kind of things that turns the minds of our youth. That's why you have all these cults and whatever at all levels. It's not a way to live. Even you find some of the elites in a fun packed on a day, stamping their feet and say toilets are all we look and things like that. And suddenly these people are the role models. I hope this country doesn't wake up one day and find itself being run by certain persons that are running through my head. Right. I didn't listen to them.
Okay. All right. Jimmy, we must go now, but before we go, what's coming up at 9?
Today is Wednesday.
Diabumi.
Yes.
Who's coming on Diabumi today?
Rita Egu, Mama Ankara.
Just for those who don't know what Diabumi is all about.
Diabumi, of course, is a column that comes up in the Vanguard every Wednesday. And it's written by Miss Pumisho Fola, who's been doing that job, I always like to say, for over 40 years. And I always like to add that Sisi Bumi she's much my senior. And she was one of the few people early in life who made me decide that I probably would want to be a journalist. So I always owe her that. And so what we do at Diabumi really is to review the column, review the issues, and generally have fun. Today being Wednesday, to break the week. Tomorrow we'll go back to more serious issues. All right, then. Lagos, please join Jimmy at 9 o'clock on Daily Digest, Diabumi edition. Jimmy, thank you for coming around. Thank you, Sherry.
Many thanks to MTN Nigeria for supporting Dailies today. But let's go to break, bring you some stories from our newsroom, then come back and talk about the boycott of the South by food traders and cattle dealers in Nigeria here. Let's have a conversation. We're hoping to get in touch with members of the Amalgamated Union of Food Dealers, Food Traders, and of course, Cattle Dealers Union. If we can't, we'll get in touch with the Coalition of Northern Groups to speak on this as well. Those two are on our table this morning. Join us again in a moment. Jimmy, again, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I'm Sharif Quadry. We're back in a moment.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.